Голодные сыропульчане, очередь за кашей гречневой. Все голодали, смотрите.
France condemns North Korea's involvement in Russia's war on Ukraine, calling it a blatant disregard for international law. This escalation poses a direct threat to European and global security. France urges North Korea to cease all support for Russian aggression, they write. Ukrainian forces sent Magura maritime drones to the waters near the port of Novorossiysk to make it happen. On May 2, 2025, a special unit of the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine, in cooperation with the Security Service of Ukraine and the Ukrainian Defense Forces, shot down a Russian Su-30 multi-role fighter in the Black Sea, the world's first destruction of a combat aircraft by a maritime drone. The historic strike with a missile from the Magura unmanned maritime platform was carried out by the soldiers of the Group 13 Special Forces Unit. The multi-purpose fighter jet of the aggressor state of Russia, whose estimated cost is about $50 million, burst into flames in the air and eventually fell into the sea, to the bottom of the ruthless Neptune's domain. This morning we wrote that during a combined drone attack on the Russian naval base in Novorossiysk, a Russian aircrew was shot down over the sea. It was not known at the time what type of aircraft they were flying, but the information that the aircraft was from an air assault regiment indicated that it was likely to have lost a Su-24 or Su-30. Such aircraft are part of the 43rd Air Assault Regiment of the Black Sea Fleet of the Russian Navy, which is based in occupied Saki. Therefore, the downed Su-30 combat aircraft was from this military unit. Russian combat aviation, including fighter jets and helicopters, has long been used to detect and destroy Ukrainian maritime drones. The problem for the Russians in destroying maritime drones by air is that they can only be effectively engaged in visual contact. On December 31st, the main Directorate of Intelligence of Ukraine published a video from a Magura maritime drone that captured the downing of 2 Russian Mi-8 helicopters. The successful liquidation took place in the Black Sea off the coast of occupied Crimea. The combat operation was also carried out by the fighters of the Group 13 Special Forces Unit. Russian mill blogger Romanov is shocked again. Gerasimov told Putin that Kursk Oblast was fully liberated, while fighting still rages near the border. But why the surprise? Lying to the president is practically a job requirement at the Russian Ministry of Defense. Russia's FSB is reportedly planning fake terror attacks in regional cities like Khabarovsk and Ulan-Ude on May 9th to frame Ukraine, according to Inform Napalm. Moscow's parade will stay untouched. The aim? Stir up outrage, block peace talks, and rally support for more war. Meanwhile in Russia, the pipe cult keeps thriving. In Omsk's Isilkul, they unveiled a replica of the Sudja infiltration pipe by a cathedral. Third one yet. On April 23rd, locals solemnly crawled through it, basking in heroic festivities. A week before May 9th, Russians are starting brawls in lines for a bowl of porridge from a red communist wagon, gripped by victorious euphoria. Eating soldiers' porridge is a cult Russian ritual on May 9th.
Голодные сыропульчане, очередь за кашей гречневой. Все голодали, смотрите. Ужас какой. 3 дня специально не ели, чтобы каши поесть гречневой. Конец света. Все. Убийство за кашей. Даже не подпускают к вагону. Там бомжи уже все разобрали, не стойте.
A 59-year-old Georgian-born house painter has been arrested in Greece for spying on NATO ops in Alexandroupoli. For more than 6 months, he filmed military shipments, especially to Ukraine, for a suspected GRU contact in Lithuania. Recruited in 2024, he claimed he'd help the motherland for any price. Europe set to redistribute €3 billion in frozen Russian funds to Western investors, following Moscow's seizure of investor cash in Russia. A new chapter in the financial fallout of Russia's invasion in Ukraine. The Pentagon has recognized significant gaps in the defense of U.S. bases from reconnaissance drones. This was reported by the Defense Post. There are gaps in drone defense both in the United States and at foreign bases of U.S. troops. The problem was publicly recognized after a series of violations of the airspace of U.S. military bases, where about 350 incidents were recorded in 2024. In particular, in December 2024, 6 cases of unauthorized entry of drones into prohibited airspace occurred at a Marine Corps base in California over 6 days. In total, over 350 incidents with drones have been reported at more than 100 U.S. military facilities over the past year. These events have prompted bipartisan agreement in Congress on the need to revise the drone countermeasures strategy and consider authorizing the use of lethal force to counter offenders. If our adversary decides to use drones for reconnaissance or even attacks, we will not be prepared to adequately defend our homeland, said Navy Rear Admiral Paul Spadero Jr., Deputy Director of Operations for the Joint Chiefs of Staff. In addition, some incidents were fatal. For example, in January 2024, a drone attacked a U.S. military base in Jordan, killing 3 U.S. soldiers. In June 2024, 2 drones attacked a coalition base in Iraq. In November 2024, unidentified drones were spotted flying over several British Royal Air Force bases where the U.S. military is stationed. And in December 2024, due to repeated sightings of drones, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio temporarily closed its airspace. Earlier, Militarny reported that unidentified reconnaissance drones were spotted over the German Ramstein Air Base. The incident occurred on the evening of December 3rd and 4th, 2024, when many drones were detected over a strategically important U.S. military facility in Europe. Despite attempts to find the suspects, law enforcement agencies have been unsuccessful and are currently patrolling strategically important sites. In addition, the Danish police are investigating the appearance of unidentified drones in the airspace above the port of Køge in January 2025. According to police dispatcher Asger Bäckström, the flights are considered illegal, as no permits for drone flights in the area have been issued. The UK has handed over all AS-90 self-propelled artillery systems to Ukraine, thus completing their use in the British Army. The last firing of these artillery systems took place in May 2024, becoming the last in the British Army. Initially, the decommissioning of these systems was planned for the 2030s, so that the replacement with a modern, self-propelled artillery system would take place without serious gaps in capabilities. Despite this, the AS-90 systems were nevertheless decommissioned, and 14 used Swedish Archer artillery systems were purchased as a temporary replacement, which were incorporated into the 1st Regiment of the Royal Horse Artillery. According to the UK Ministry of Defence's document on the number of equipment on the balance sheet, as of 2023, the number of the AS-90 systems was 57 units, and in February 2024, this number decreased to 39 systems, which was due to their transfer to Ukraine.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.